Welcome back to the channel. In this installment, we're going to be going over February 27th NBA slate on Draftkings and Fanduel, bringing you the top plays and value for this Monday slate. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your February 27th Monday NBA slate on FanDuel and DraftKings, bringing you the top plays and values. Guys, before I deep dive into this very, very intriguing slate, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't forget about Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. If you're already into DFS, I know you dibble and dabble with betting as well. So it's time to get on the winning side and sign up right now. The link is down below. Before we get into the point guard position, we're going to go over just a few guys that are going to be out for the Monday slate. So far, we know about Jaylen Brown. He's going to be out for the Boston Celtics. The usage bump is going to go towards Jason Tatum, who is the thumbnail for this particular Monday slate, Malcolm Brogdon, and also a trickle down to Sam Hauser. So we'll get to those plays really soon. Some other guys we're going to be looking towards that are going to be out. That's going to be PJ Washington off of the Charlotte Hornets. Jalen Duren, the center for the Detroit Pistons, he's going to be out. And we have a Q tag on Tyler Hero for the Miami Heat. Their shooting guard / six-man there for Miami. So those are going to be the key significant outs for Monday. Let's get into the point guard plays. For the point guard plays, we're going to start out in this slate here, the 4-game slate we got going. It's kind of sandwich between Detroit, Charlotte, and you got Orlando and New Orleans Pelicans. Those two games there are going to be fantasy friendly. Okay, that's where you want to target probably most of your value as well. But those games are going to be more high scoring. All right, in the middle, you got two tough defensive games here: Miami against Philly. You got Boston against Knicks. Knicks across the board are very good defensively, and obviously we know about Boston. So we're going to have to pick and choose our spots in the middle of these games between Miami, Philly, Boston, New York. But the outer two games, Detroit, Charlotte, Orlando, Pelicans, do not be shy and get the no-name guys in your lineup builds, all right? A lot of people are just going to gravitate to all the people that they know, Miami, Philly, Boston, New York, but there are gems on the outside of it. And we're going to start with the point guard position. That's going to be LaMelo Ball at 10,300 against these Detroit Pistons, all right? Pistons, this is obviously still a struggling team. And as you can see, LaMelo in two previous matchups has 49 fantasy points, nearly 50-plus fantasy points in matchups against the Detroit Pistons. That's where we want to target. Everyone's going to be on Tatum. You can spend up and go to LaMelo Ball, get some usage off of him. In this game, that's going to be a high-scoring environment. You're going to fade all the percentage that's going to be on all the other games in Philly and Boston, and you get someone that's going to pop off and has huge upside here. In 3 out of the last 5 games, over 60 fantasy points. Love LaMelo Ball for the Monday slate. The next point guard we're going to look at, a little bit of a salary saver here. You paid up $10,300. If you want to go a little bit cheaper, we're saving $4,000 here with Markelle Fultz against the New Orleans Pelicans. He's had a rough career, but he is turning things around with Orlando Magic here. And now at a price right in the middle of $6,200. He was in the high 5,000s. They're bumping up just a little bit here. And he has been performing, all right? If you want to look at his previous performance, that was in limited minutes. Now he's getting 30-plus minutes. As you can see, the past 5 games, he has over 3 out of the past 5 games has over 30 fantasy points with the 47.5 against the Chicago Bulls. He is looking like the prospect that was promised that Philly got, but obviously they were not able to wait on him, and now the Orlando Magic are going to reap the rewards. Markelle Fultz is a solid play at $6,200. Now, the shooting guards. Oh, actually, Malcolm Brogdon. Do not forget about Malcolm Brogdon at 5,700. Another salary saver. He's going to be at the point guard position with Jaylen Brown out. He's going to get a usage bump, and when he does, that's when you see Brogdon go off for over 30 fantasy points. 46.7 against Indiana, 40 against Detroit. See, like I'm saying, I told you it's a very good spot. Point guards against Detroit. You saw Malcolm Brogdon right there. Milwaukee, Malcolm Brogdon had 36.5. So the fit in these three core point guards here. Fultz, LaMelo, Brogdon, all these guys are going to be gems for Monday. Now, on to the shooting guard position. We're going to start out with rookie Jaden Ivey here, 5,600. Another value play that we got here. Right in the middle, not too high priced here. He's going to bring a lot of energy. Let's see his last two matchups against Charlotte, around 31 fantasy points. So hopefully maybe we can get 40 plus in this matchup against Charlotte Hornets, which is a very promising matchup. But it's good to see he's already had two decent games against the Charlotte Hornets, and has been shooting phenomenally from the three-point line against the Hornets as well. So 5,600. Someone that you can stick in almost all your lineups because he is not that expensive at that price, and you can build around him there. So another shooting guard that we're going to look at will be Terry Rozier. On the opposite side of this game, you want it, like I said, we're going to stack these games with a lot of points in them, and Terry Rozier is going to be a guy paired with LaMelo Ball. Don't be scared to do that. It's only a 4-game slate, all right? Not that many options. Stacking will be very key in your lineup builds, all right? He's coming off 2 poor performances here against Miami, which is very strong defensively. Minnesota, he just shot poorly, but before that, we saw some upside against Atlanta, 47, and against Boston, 40.25. That's what we want from Terry Rozier. You know he can go off any game at that 3-point line. That's what we're going to be banking on at 6,800, all right? Let's move on to that small forward position, and we're going to go with Brandon Ingram, who was almost my thumbnail. I think he's going to be a smash play in this matchup going up against the Orlando Magic here at home. This team has been struggling the past 2 weeks here. Long losing streak here. They finally got a win recently, but Brandon Ingram's going to be the key to this team. If they're going to have success, he's going to take the majority of the shots. There's another one. You can pivot off all the lineups that are going to be having Tatum. You can go with another small forward here, and Brandon Ingram that can have some big upside. Against Toronto, 48.75. Against Cleveland, 42.25. He has not faced Orlando yet, but this is a plus matchup. If we're looking at small forwards here against these Orlando Magic, we're going to go right here. They are allowing about 45.74 fantasy points per game. So that would be awesome for Brandon Ingram if he came through with that. He has the capacity to go well over that. Very efficient mid-range jump shooter as well. And that 3 ball is kicking in, he can definitely get towards that 50 mark at $8,000 in salary. Love Brandon Ingram, all right? Another guy we're going to look towards. A lot of people want to go to Banchero. He's a solid option if you want to pay up for him. But Franz Wagner in this matchup, I like at 6,100. He's one of the forgotten guys, and he can go off. In his previous performance against the Indiana Pacers, 34 fantasy points in the previous matchup against the Pelicans in only 32 minutes. He came through with 30 real points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 52 fantasy points from Franz Wagner. He can be the X factor in this game. I loved him at 6,100. A lot of people are going to go with Banchero. I think we can be just a little bit tad sneakier and go with someone that's going to get just as much usage in Franz Wagner, right? For the power forward position, with the injuries on that Charlotte Hornets team, like I said, no PJ Washington. That's going to lean more towards Gordon Hayward getting some usage here at $6,000 in salary. He's already went off twice in the past 5 games here. 58 against Minnesota, 49 against Atlanta. Now, and they still haven't really raised his price. He's still at $6,000 in salary. And this is a perfect spot here with no PJ Washington. He's going to be getting 30 plus minutes. As you can see, he's getting that consistently. I love Gordon Hayward in this matchup against the Detroit Pistons. Definitely go get him. And then one more guy we're going to go with at this power forward position will be Bogdanovich. We're going to pay attention to the news here. He is questionable with an Achilles injury. Want to make sure he's going to be fine for this game, so wait. He's averaging around 31 fantasy points against the Charlotte Hornets in 2 previous games. 2 poor performances against Toronto and Orlando. I expect him to bounce back. He's pretty much the leading scorer on this team here. He's going to carry a high usage here. So I love him at 6,200, but make sure you're paying attention to news. Check RotoWire, check Twitter, or check Roto World NBA. All those formats will provide information for you on Bojan Bogdanovich, all right? Let's go on to the center position, the guys we're going to focus on here. And the first guy we're going to talk about will be Mark Williams for the Charlotte Hornets here, all right? They have some injuries at the center position, and Mark Williams has come in and played the center position pretty solidly against Miami. Shockingly, almost had a 20-20 double-double here against the Miami Heat. 18 and 20, 1 block, 1 steal, 48 fantasy points from Mark Williams. He also went off against San Antonio, had a double-double there, 33 fantasy points. And then against Atlanta, 15 and 5 with 2 steals, 2 blocks. Definitely something we can look forward towards on DraftKings and especially FanDuel, where we get the point bump with the blocks and steals. All right, he's getting a solid average in both of those categories, so consider him on DraftKings and especially FanDuel with that bump in fantasy production. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to touch on one tough matchup here in that Boston and New York Knicks game here. It will be Mitchell Robinson. They finally get their center back. He's been injured for a lot of games so far this season. Came through in back-to-back games around 30 fantasy points, and he still has not been priced up yet. So you want to take advantage. If he's going to give us a solid 30 fantasy points here at $5,000 in salary and looking at a double-double, by all means, we're going to go for it. He's going to be banging down there with Robert Williams. So both of these guys should be getting a ton of rebounds and a ton of blocks. They both have upside here if you want to go with Richard Robinson or if you want to go with Robert Williams. Both are very good plays for this slate on Monday. So Mitchell Robinson is just a little bit cheaper at $5,200. Let's move on to FanDuel for our value plays. On to our value plays on FanDuel. We're going to start off with Cole Anthony going up against these New Orleans Pelicans. I like Fultz and I also like Cole Anthony. Both of these guys have been playing solidly as of late. Fultz is starting. Cole Anthony comes off to the bench and is instant energy and fantasy points. 42 fantasy points in 24 minutes against Denver. And other than that, he's averaging around 24 fantasy points in very limited minutes, but he's a spark plug. So if things go wrong with Markelle Fultz, he gets in foul trouble. Cole Anthony is going to be coming through and be providing very significant fantasy points here. Very active in 16 minutes, 24 fantasy points, in 18 minutes, 24 fantasy points, and in 19 minutes, 23.8. So if we're expecting him to get even a little bump over 20, we could be seeing 30 plus fantasy points in Cole Anthony's game. All right, so love him at $5,800. If you want to save salary, punt one of the point guard positions on FanDuel, which you have that luxury. You'll play a high price one, you punt one, and then you continue going down your lineup. That can be very, very useful for you in your tournament builds. All right, the next point guard we're going to look at will be Derek White. All right, with Jaylen Brown, there's 2 guys that are going to get a usage bump. That's Malcolm Brogdon. Excuse me. Malcolm Brogdon, number 1, and Derek White, number 2. All right, this 3-point specialist, he came on strong last year in the playoffs, and now he's been a regular in the lineup. If we're looking at some of his previous game logs, 62, against Charlotte, 38.6 against Memphis, 53 against Milwaukee, 33 against Detroit. So this guy has tons of upside here at his current price of $6,900. Do not shy away from that price. Plus now he is getting the usage bump with Jaylen Brown out. So if you want to pivot off Jason Tatum, Derek White, Brogdon stacks, that can be very creative, and you can build around that as well. The next guy we're going to look at will be Marvin Bagley, all right? Detroit, like I said, there's no Jalen Duren. They're going to be missing some bigs down low at the power forward and center position. Bagley has been a bust so far, mainly in his NBA career, but he came up strong against Toronto in 27 minutes, 21 points, 18 rebounds, 1 block. Can he recreate that performance that he had a couple days ago? Hopefully he can do so. He's going to get the opportunity with no Jalen Duren, all right? So he's going to get the opportunity, and one more guy is going to get the opportunity. That is James Wiseman, who they got from the Golden State Warriors here, $4,800 in price. He's been in the starting lineup as of late because of Jalen Duren being out. And we got a double-double in this previous game against the Toronto Raptors here, 10-10 there. Against Orlando, 8-10 with a block. And against Boston, 11-5. So if you want to fill in someone, a punt play center, it's a risk here on FanDuel because you can only play one. So he's going to have to come through. But if you feel like you're fine with everything else in your lineup at point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and power forward, you have just enough for Wiseman. By all means, go in on that price and value, all right? So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with another video very soon, all right? Peace out, guys.